Soundstripe.
Because you got a new little bundle of joy in your house. How's that going for you?
Mate, in all honesty, it's going very well. I'm lucky that I've got a solid support crew with Bess behind me, but it definitely makes a difference having a new bub in the house. But they're both doing really well, mate. So it's a change, but it's been a really good one for us. And looking forward to the future, which is fantastic.
I think there's an argument to be made that the entire club can say that about Bess, that she's just this fantastic support system who keeps everything running. So that does not surprise me in the slightest. That you guys are absolutely knocking it out of the park. So yeah, congratulations from us. Congratulations from the club. That's an exciting. I'd imagine it's very exciting for you, Cam.
It is, mate, and appreciate the words. And you're right, mate. The front door wouldn't even be closed if Bess wasn't in the house. So a lot of appreciation for her.
We're already getting into the truths in this podcast. I love it. Hey, let's talk about last week. Starting off, it was a big day at home for the seniors. First game at Hanging Rock. Obviously, the reserve grade got to raise the 2024 Premiership flag. A special day for Anzac Day as well, Mick. Tell me how kind of all the non-football stuff went on Saturday.
Yeah, really good, mate. Obviously, we're a bit of a late start on Saturday compared to usual with the forfeit in the women's match. So, we all got to have a bit of a sleep in on Saturday morning, which was good. And yeah, like I said, we had the unfurling of the Resi's flag, and we had a little Anzac Day celebration or ceremony before the first grade game, which was really well received by everyone that was there.
Yeah, so let's talk about the action on field. You've already mentioned that unfortunately the women's side had a forfeit. They weren't the ones forfeiting, so they've gotten the win out of this game. But Yas did not bring a team to Hanging Rock on the weekend. Let's go through some of the other results from that division as well. So we had a big win for the Woden women's team, 14-20, 104 to 1 behind against Ainsley. And the other game on the weekend, there's a game that doesn't have a score line yet on the website, so I can't tell you anything about Adfa and ANU unless you guys have any insider information there.
No, I don't actually. I didn't realise that wasn't up.
Yeah, that's still not up for the women's grade, but we do have the result. Gugong 8-8-56 beat Molonglo 1 straight kick. So, I mean, we spoke about this last week, Mick, but I'd imagine those girls are just raring to get into a game of footy at this point.
Yeah, mate. I actually wasn't at training last night, but yeah, like you said, I could imagine that they're raring to go after a few weeks off now, 3 consecutive weeks off with the Easter bye in between. So I'm sure they're raring to go, and obviously coming up against a Woden team, that are obviously in really good form with putting 100 points on Ainsley. So I'm sure the girls will be raring to go for a big game on Saturday.
Yeah, and that'll be their first home game technically, I guess, given it was a forfeit this week. Let's talk about the reserve grade. It started well with the raising of the flag and I guess the memories of that day. Probably didn't finish as well. This was an 18-12, 120 to 1 behind loss to the Murrum Bateman Eagles. Cam, I'll ask you about this game. I guess tell us what happened on field for this one.
Oh, look, mate, I think that the combination of having Easter coming into the Anzac weekend definitely played a part. We were a lot of blokes down, and a lot of our dominant players were out for the weekend. And look, it was a hard task for us to even get a team on the paddock. But look, we came out. One of the things that I don't want to do is have a forfeit, especially at home. But all I know, mate, is that the next time we come up against Murray and Bateman, it'll definitely be a different game. We've still got a team there, and we just need to get everybody on the paddock. It's the same for the Rezzies every year, mate. The first couple of weeks, we've struggled to get the boys involved, but coming out in the next couple of weeks, we'll be there, and we'll definitely show the comp that we're back in.
Yeah, look, I think last year proved that there is still a lot of talent at this club, and looking through the team list, I can see there's a number of missing names that I would usually see on that team list. So, and as you spoke about, Cam, I suppose at this time of the year, it's just about getting trying to get that consistent playing group going, and I suppose that's just a work in progress.
Yeah, that's right, mate. And the Easter weekend into Anzac, a lot of people are away for that, which we can understand. But look, I've got faith in the boys that they'll be back around. And as I said, we'll just show people what we're here for.
The perils of regional footy. Let's talk about seniors. They had a win, so they've continued their perfect start to the year.
You
10,
don't want to
11,
talk
7.
about best players in the Rezzies, mate.
Oh,
No.
sorry, I'm getting put on blast here because the number one best player according to this list is Michael Kenny. Mate, is there
Oh,
any reason you requested that?
I thought you were dodging that. No,
No.
as
So
you were, mate.
sorry. Yes,
I was
Michael.
going to bring that up later in the chat. But look, in all honesty, now that you brought it up, Poon, if we didn't have Poon on the weekend, I reckon we probably would have had 180 kicks. So.
Did we
No,
kick the
mate,
point?
mysterious. She was a wild old day, but that's for sure.
The other best. Let's go through the rest of the best. The other best players on this list: Bowen Kelly, Joshua Wallace, Bronson Mowat, Samuel Larkins, and Karma Geisler. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go to the seniors. This was a win. We continue the perfect start to the year. 10, 11, 71 to Yass, a bit of an unknown, but 5-5, 35. So that's a 36-point win, a nice 6-goal win there, Mick. We spoke last week about wanting to get off to a really good start in front of the home crowd, and that kind of didn't eventuate because you were down by 11 points at quarter time. It seems like they jumped you. What did you say at quarter time to kind of turn that one around?
It's not too much. Like we've said before, mate, I'm pretty process driven, not really result driven. But I think they probably did shock us a little bit. They come out and played a really good brand of footy in that first 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes was probably nearly the hottest footy I think I've seen in our division for a couple of years. It was bouncing pretty quick both ways, and yeah, to their credit, they come out really hot and probably put us on the back foot early. But obviously at quarter time, I think we just a couple of little tinkers to what we were doing. We changed a couple of little things up, nothing too hectic, but yeah, it was mainly just about getting on top in the middle and fixing a few things around the stoppage and a little thing in our forward setup that we fixed up. But after quarter time, mate, I think we're definitely the better side for the day. That's for sure.
Yeah, so it was 9 goals to 2 after quarter time, 6 goals to none over the middle 2 quarters, and that's kind of where you've won the game based on the line score. What was your biggest takeaway from that game, Mick?
From us, mate, from our perspective.
Yeah, from your perspective.
Yeah, our perspective. I thought we were really good. I thought there was probably just obviously you take that first quarter out, but to be fair, I don't think we were bad in the first quarter either. I just think that there was some pretty good footy that come out of that. But obviously now we know going into a grand final rematch this week that things are going to heat up a little bit more. And there's a couple of areas that we've sort of identified that we need to get a little bit better. There's obviously areas that Woden do things really well and they do it better than us. But then there's obviously areas that we do really well that we do better than them. So I guess for us going into this week, it's probably more so about our, what we do well, more so than what we don't do well, and really just working on those things and make sure that we're sharpened and ready to go.
And what was your read on Yass? Because obviously it's a team that you're probably not too familiar with from a seniors standpoint. Did they impress you?
Yeah, they did, mate. Yeah, they definitely did. I think they'll be thereabouts in the finals race for sure. obviously, they've had a really tough start to the year. They played ADFA round one, they've played ANU round two, and then they've come into us round three. So, they've played, three of the best sides in the comp straight up, and they've only come away with that one win, but they've been really competitive against us and ADFA as well. So, I probably, I expect them to be up there, and it probably just depends on their depth as well. I'm not too sure how deep they bat, but I think their top, the best 22 or whatever they threw at us on Saturday is definitely a very competitive footy team.
Let's go through the goal scorers from this one. It was Buster Ware kicking 4 goals, continuing his absolutely torrid start to the season. Your co-coach, Nathan Blackburn, kicked a couple, and then we had singles to Brodie Kaufman, Jamin McGeehan, the skipper Kyle O'Malley, and Harry Shannon. We'll go through the best players list as well. Sebastian Geary, your best on ground. Is that kind of the read that you got from the game, Mick, that Seb was kind of the driving force behind this one?
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think especially after quarter time, I think he was the one who really lifted in the engine room for us. I think he was, pretty close. Him and Kyle were probably, pretty clear to be at the top. That's for sure.
Yeah, Kyle O'Malley also on that list. This guy I'm really excited to see playing first grade this season.
Yeah,
It's Morris Absalon.
yeah, really
Um,
good, very good on the weekend.
my favourite player, Liam Bacco. Um, Nathan Blackburn and then Buster Ware. So I mean, it's a lot of the usual suspects that are playing well when you guys are going well, and that must be really pleasing for you to see so early in the season.
Yeah, it is, mate. I'll just touch on Moe Absalon as well. Obviously, sort of new to our system this year. I think he only played the one game of reserve grade last year, and he's come in, had a massive preseason, but he's sort of stepped into a hard role there at as a tall backman, as our centre half back, and he's in outstanding form at the moment, and he's got a lot of strings to his bow, so he gives us a lot of things that we probably didn't usually have in that back half. So it's something a little bit different that probably a few opposition teams won't be ready for as well.
Yeah, I mean, watching him train last year, he's an athletic beast. And I always felt like once he could probably give the time to footy, he was going to be a very good player for this club, and it's good to see that it's happened so quickly for him. So you must be thrilled getting a kind of a new Key-ish type defender into the system as well.
Yeah, might work.
Let's talk about the other results. Well, let's go back to reserve grade because I skipped over reserve grade. I don't know why I'm doing this, Mick. I think it was just because I saw your name first and I went, I don't want to mention this. Let's go the other results. So ANU got a win over AD for that one, was 7-8-50 to 5-14-44.
It's an interesting result here.
Yeah, that's it looks just based off the scoreboard that ADFA probably kicked themselves out of that game, but anyway, Ainsley had a win over Woden 7-12-54 to 5-11-41. Obviously, we've already mentioned the Bateman's Bay score. Molonglo beat Googong 11-5-71 to 7-4-46. And the Southern Cats, a big win over Cootamundra, 15-17-107 to 5-1-31. Any results that stand out there for either of you guys?
Mate, I think
that
that
Woden one for sure.
yeah, the Ainsley Woden one definitely surprised me. I had a look at the teams yesterday, and there was definitely a few different players in the Ainsley team, but it wasn't that different to the team that we played. Woden had a couple step up into the ones, but as Mick said to me yesterday, it would have been interesting to be a fly on the wall, hearing Chicken yell at the boys. Ainsley, that's for sure.
Well, nothing better than a good spray.
Oh.
Let's look at the first grade results. This one probably getting back to a bit of normalcy for ADFA. They had a big 13-10-88 to 5-11-41 win over ANU. Nice tight game at Kingston Oval on Saturday. Goulburn got a win 9-13-67 to 9-6-60 over Eastlake. Woden continued their pretty strong start to the season, 10-13-73 to 5-6-36 over Ainsley. We've spoken about the Bateman's Bay results. Let's go to the Googong. They had a massive win. This was a 104-point win, 2011-131 to 4-3-27 over Molonglo. And Cootamundra getting a win over Belconnen, 10-9-69 to 7-9-51. Mick, we spoke a little bit about that odd Molonglo ADFA result from last week. and that result looks even stranger going through these results from this good weekend gone past. Any of those results really stand out to you at all?
Oh, probably not. I mean, it's obviously good to see Goulburn doing so well. I think they're 3-0 as well, so they're sort of flying under the radar a bit. But I think Gurgong. I don't know whether I mentioned that last week, but they're probably a team that yeah, I've got rating pretty high. I think they'll be definitely up there for sure.
Yeah.
They've obviously had a really good list along the way, but they've picked up a couple of guys as well who will yeah, sort of gives them a bit more depth. But no, other than that, mate, I think everything sort of looks pretty well. Obviously, Cuda getting that one over Belco. But yeah, that's all
Yeah.
I've got to
So
say on that.
it means that we've got three teams that are perfect so far to start the season. It's us, the Seahawks. Woden have also started the season perfectly, and as you mentioned, Goulburn, um, big percentage gap at the moment. I think you've got more than 200% more than Woden, which is crazy. And Woden's percentage is 236, so that's saying a lot. Um, but yeah, I mean, big test next week for your guys going up against Woden. We'll talk about that a bit later as well. So let's go through let's go through the other results. We had the Rising Stars men also playing on Saturday. Um, did the crowd stick around for that one, Mick?
Yeah, they did, mate. Yeah, we had a good crowd down there. They obviously had the 4 o'clock time slot, and to be fair, they come out of the blocks really well. Our boys had a really good first quarter, and then yeah, they probably just eased up a bit in the second quarter, and Mara sort of put a bit more on them in that second quarter. But full credit to those boys. They're playing a lot better brand of footy than obviously what that team was 12 months ago, and it's going to be a bit of a process with that team and that age group. We know that, but definitely some good signs there for sure.
So the score on that one was Marist College 13-23-101, Batemans Bay 4 straight 24. Goal kickers for Batemans Bay, Alex Makey, Deacon McPartland, Caden Smith, and Jack West. The best players, William McAteer, William Clapton, Asher Holtzheimer, Kyler Mackey, Jed Ware, another Ware, and Jack West. Yeah, I mean, that's, we know Alex is a fantastic player. He's probably going to play some first grade this year, but you must be really pleased seeing some of those guys that played last year, like Asher and like Jed, who had a few games last year, getting up and being amongst the best players for this year as well.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think probably the one that really caught my eye is Will McTeer, who was the top of the list there. He's a guy who was a bit of a weapon at junior footy and had a few years away, and he stepped back in this year, and yeah, he's sort of just taken off where he left a few years ago, and yeah, I was really excited to see him. Sort of the first time that I've really got to watch him go around, and he's definitely a star of the future to keep an eye on for sure.
Let's look at the other results from that grade. Belconnen had a big win over Tuggeran on 18-11-119 to 4-2-26. It's 93 points. And we had a Friday night draw at EPC Solar Park. East Lake 6-10-46 to Ainsley 7-4-46. So East Lake might be kicking themselves a bit there based on those score
Mm.
lines, but not often you see draws at this kind of level. I'd imagine. I can't think of any draws that you guys have had that I've been aware of.
Not for a while, mate. Nah, well, I think I've had maybe one or two since I've been at the club, but yeah, obviously not something you see too much of. But like you say, it's like obviously 6-10. They'll be thinking that they definitely had their opportunities to win that.
Yeah. Rising Stars women, they had a game on Sunday against Queanbeyan Tigers, and looks like they were pretty competitive again, but unfortunately this time they did go down 2-10-22. Queanbeyan were 9-7-61, so that's a 39-point win for Queanbeyan. But it's only like it's 16 scoring shots to 12. It doesn't. Is it a game? Were you there, Mick? And is it a game that kind of the scoreboard may not have done it justice of how close it was?
I actually watched the first quarter. Cam probably watched a little bit more than me, so he'd probably be able go a bit more. But I watched the first quarter, and I think at quarter time it was 4 scoring shots apiece.
Yep.
We'd kicked 1-3, they kicked 3-1, and there definitely wasn't much between them. From the word on the street, they got some really big raps on Queanbeyan, and talking to a few guys around yesterday who spoke with umpires and that of the game, and they two umpires who officiated it reckon that they're the two best teams in that competition. So it's obviously something to look forward to, and hopefully our girls can keep up that standard. But definitely from that first quarter that I watched, there wasn't much between the two teams, that's for sure.
Well, it was 10 scoring shots apiece at the end of the first half as well, but it was
Yep.
5-5 to 2-8. So, I mean, it shows it was really just the third quarter where Queanbeyan kind of got away from them a bit, but it kind of shows that for such a new team to be this competitive so early, it's a pretty good effort from both the players, but also Damon as the coach there.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Let's look at the goal kickers for Bateman's away from that game. Just the two goal kickers this week. Singles to both Hunter Absalon and Summer Walker. The best list: Sophie Firth, Isla Judd, Claire Callahan, Hunter Absalon, Maxine Wilson, and Millie Duncombe. And the other results from that grade: a 4-point win to Ainsley over Eastlake. That was 5-4-34 to 4-6-30. And I do not have a score once again on the website. Oh no, that's probably because the game isn't being played till June. So that's all I've got.
Yep.
That's all I've got for that grade. So look, a big day, another big day, and probably one that I know, Mick, that you say a lot that you're process driven and you try not to read too much. You try not to make too much of a big deal about games, but
Yep.
there must be an element where you've put a circle around this weekend's game, the grand final rematch against Woden.
Yeah, I think, like I said early on in the podcast, I think we said the other week, mate, it's definitely a game that you always, you always put a pencil around, and you're sort of looking forward to it just because you know how tough of a contest it is. And yeah, definitely, like I said, I wasn't at training for very long last night, so I'm not too sure what the vibe is with the boys. But obviously, after the game, talking to the boys last week, they're up and about, and we feel like we're playing some really good footy at the moment, especially those last three quarters against Yass. So we're going in really confident. We do have our co-captain in Kyle O'Malley out this weekend, which is obviously a massive loss. But then we bring in a guy like Josh Mulrooney as well. So I like to think that we've definitely got the cattle there to get the job done in what's going to be obviously a massive day.
So that'll be all three grades unless there are any late forfeitures there. So it'd just be the usual 10, 12, 2, Mick?
Yep. Yeah, mate. Yeah, just usual times on Saturday.
How's your team looking for this weekend, Cam?
Mate, look, it's a lot better than last weekend, that's for sure. And I'm nervous about this weekend against Woden, obviously, being the grand final game last year. But I've still got faith in our boys. We've got our middle back. We've got one of our talls back as well. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I think that it'll be a good matchup this weekend with a strong team back. And hopefully we can present properly and show Woden that we're still here to take it off them again.
And do you think we can expect another number one on the best list from old mate Mick over here?
Oh, mate, anything's possible from that old dog, let me tell you. He's an anomaly, Michael Kenny, let me tell you.
Can I ask Cam, is he still playing on one calf?
Mate, I don't think he's got either of them, but he's got a ticker, so that makes the difference, even being one of the older boys in the squad at the moment, he comes out and he plays his heart out every weekend.
I'm just sorry, go on.
No, that's what we need him for. I don't think he wants to play in the back line anymore, but sorry, Mick, you're gonna.
I was going to say I'm one of the young boys in the Rezzies, mate.
Yeah, if I'm not on the paddock.
Cam, I'm just going to be asking you leading questions all night to just call Michael old as much as you can. So
that's pretty rough coming from me, though, Jolly. He's 6 years younger than me. So.
We won't mention that part, eh?
Well, not again, anyway.
Let's quickly talk about the juniors. They all travelled down to Bega on the weekend for round 2 of that competition. The competitive age groups that we have scores for, under 13s had a win, 4-8-32, one behind. Under 15 boys went down 92-29. The under 16s girls, they had a win, 7-4-46 to 2 straight 12. And our under 17s also a win. This was a tight one, 9-16, 70 to 11-2, 68. This weekend, I believe they are heading to the teams that are playing, are heading to Eden.
Yeah, they are, mate. Yep.
I believe under 17s have a bye.
Yep. And so do the under 15s.
Yeah, so another big road trip for the junior families at the club. It's probably the two longest road trips you've got, just about. Oh, I guess Maroonville is pretty far, but Eden, that's a bit of a slog.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I think she's an early start, mate. I think the under 9s and the 11s are on at 9:10. So, it'd be an early start for our Seahawks junior parents on Saturday morning.
You just about have to be leaving at 6 o'clock when you to get down there. That tests out the early risers, I reckon. And also our rising stars will also be playing this weekend. Bateman's Bay, the men taking on Tuggeranong. That's 11:15 a.m. on Sunday at Hanging Rock. And then 1:30 on Sunday, the women are taking on also Tuggeranong. So two big games there on a Sunday, 3 big games on a Saturday. It's just going to be a massive weekend of footy at Hanging Rock Oval. Now, Mick, let's give a plug to a couple of events that are coming up. We spoke about Ladies' Day a little bit last week, but tell us how's the planning going for that now that we're about a month out?
Yeah, pretty good, mate. Like I said, we've obviously got my agent team on board this year for our Ladies' Day, which is on Saturday, the 31st of May. So it's round 8 when we play ANU. All the information on the club socials. There's also a link to purchase tickets on there. Tickets are probably going a little bit slow at the moment, so if you're going to be interested in a great day at the footy, it's only $25 and you get grazing platter, the VIP area. You get a free drink on arrival as DJ, photo booth, and a gift bag on arrival as well. So pretty good value for money there. If any ladies out there want to head to the Ladies' Day on Saturday, the 31st of May.
Cam, are you gonna give Bess the day off that day? Is she gonna get to experience the VIP package?
Mate, I think I'll struggle to get that baby off, Best, but I'll definitely be buying a ticket, and I think that there'll be enough ladies up there. Lainey will get passed around like a bag of lollies, so Best might be able to enjoy herself a bit, I think.
That's it's the best part, isn't it, of the socials when you got kids? They you can just kind of play almost past the parcel with them. It's fun.
Yeah, that's right.
And Mick, 80s night. Tell us about 80s night.
Yeah, mate. So first function of the year this Saturday night. So our major sponsors, the Steam Packet Hotel, are hosting that. So it'll sort of be a bit of a flow-on effect. We obviously go out there for our awards. So yeah, we'll sort of have our awards out there, and then that'll lead into 80s night. So encourage everyone to head out there and dress up in their 80s gear and dance the night away out there.
And is there any additional cost to that one, Mick?
No, there's not, mate. No, just get dressed up and go and have a good night.
Sounds good to me. Hey, let's move into the interview part of this this podcast, where we've obviously been you've been hearing from Cam Carr talk about I guess the reserve grade this year and last year, but let's dig into Cam Carr the person and Cam Carr the footballer and find out a little bit more about this this magnificent man. Can I say that?
Well, yeah, questionable, but sure.
And fair warning, this might be the loosest interview we've done so far on the podcast.
No, we'll be right.
We'll see how we go. First of all, I'm going to leave you in Mick's very capable hands because he's got a series of questions that he's going to ask every guest this season. So the floor is yours, Mick.
Are you familiar with our new questions, Cam? I didn't even give these a plug with you before.
I did hear them, but mate, my
Yep.
memory's no good. So
Okay, so your favourite teammate since you've been at the Seahawks? That'll kick us off.
Oh, is that on or off the field?
Either.
Look, my favourite teammate. I think that the person that I probably resonate the most with is Ross Hummel. I think that's probably because I live vicariously through him these days.
Yeah, that's definitely a good pick.
Yeah.
Strangest food combination?
Whoa. Um, phew. Cruscets with taco sauce and cheese in the air fryer.
Oh yeah,
Actually sounds all right.
yeah. I
That's
could, I
yeah,
could, I
mate,
could,
it's delicious.
I can see the appeal of that.
Yeah.
Go to karaoke song?
Oh, mate, I'm not much of a singer. I might have a loud voice, but I'm not much of a singer. One song that I have that I do like screaming in the car is Tom's Diner, but I wouldn't be able to tell you who it's by.
Okay,
That's
right.
a cover.
And if you were to travel anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Uh, Mate, I think that I'd like to go back to my father's side roots and hang out in Germany for a bit.
Yeah, nice. Very good. Best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Oh, best piece of advice.
Not that you've ever listened to it, but the best piece of advice
Yeah.
that you've ever received.
um, oh, don't do anything that you don't want to do. I think
Yep,
that
fair
was
enough.
that. Yeah, that was my grandfather. Don't do anything that you don't want to do. And there's that doesn't really give me many options because I'm happy to do anything.
And and if you could go in a time machine back to any place in time, where would you go?
Big day out, 2008. Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name.
Perfect. You were right, Jolie. This episode is going to be loose.
Yeah, as soon as he mentioned Ross Hummel, I knew that this is just going to go downhill from here. But let's kick on anyway,
Let's go.
eh? Cam, tell me first of all, how'd you get your start in football? Like, what's your history there? Did you play juniors? Is it something you've come by as an adult?
Mate, my mum is a pretty staunch lady, and I was never allowed to play rugby league growing up, which all of my mates did. And my old man's from Margaret River. So at the age of about 13, the old man managed to talk mum into let me play Aussie rules.
Yep.
And I started playing for Ainsley. Went through all of my junior stuff with Ainsley up until I was about 20, 21, I think. Played a couple of second grade games with Ainsley and then pulled the pin. I had to move away for work.
Yep.
And then when I came back, I think it was 2000 and it would have been 2004 or 5. I started playing for Gungahlin Jets. That was before they stepped up into the Premier League. Started playing there on the wing. Would you believe? I was a backman my whole life with Ainsley, and then started playing for the Jets on the wing. Played a couple of games with them, and they broke my leg pretty seriously. So I had a couple of years off, and then went back to the Jets when they were in Premier League,
Okay.
which was a really hard slog. Obviously, they still struggle up there.
Yep.
And then Simon Croft, who was a mate of Brendan Schmidt's. I rang Brendo and said, "Mate, do you want to come and play for the Jets?" And Brendo said, "Mate, I'm going to go and play for Bateman's Bay." And I love the coast, always have, and I thought that it was a good opportunity. And now we're here. After 2019, I came into the Bay. So
Yeah. Okay. So it was Simon Croft really and Brendan Schmidt who got you to the club. Did you foresee yourself kind of spending this many years at the club, or did you originally kind of view it as, oh yeah, I'll go play for a couple of years and then I might go back to Canberra kind of thing?
mate, so that was in 2019. So I would have been 30, 37 at that age. And I just wanted to have another bit of a run around.
Fair enough.
I didn't expect to still be here now, that's for sure. But as soon as I came down to the Bay, Obviously, coming down, not knowing anybody down there was a bit daunting as well. But the crew down at the bay, it doesn't take long to crack the boys if you've got a good personality, and obviously majority of them do as well. There's one that I will point out, that's Liam Bacco. He's questionable, but
You're a good man. You're a good man, Cam.
I did that for you, Jolly.
Thank you.
I'm going to take that back. Liam Bacco's amazing. Yeah, look, it didn't take long to sort of feel welcome down at the Seahawks. Yeah, since then, mate, I've enjoyed my time down there, and I'll never look back. It's the best club that I've been involved in, and I think that anybody that is involved in it is pretty lucky, in all honesty.
What is your favourite thing about the club,
mate? It's just the culture. I've made some friends for life down at the bay. Being a Canberra boy, it's something that surprised me a lot. Like Michael Kenny, I speak to him every day, and I consider him one of my best mates. And the rest of the boys, they get around everybody that comes down, and it's just like a big family, and it's hard to describe, but it is amazing. And every single person down there is there for a reason, and that's just to make it as good as everybody can for each other. And it's something that I haven't found in Canberra. Well, not that I haven't found in Canberra, but something that you don't see that quickly, I think, being an outsider as well.
Mm.
Are we there?
Lost him, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so too.
Hello? Sorry.
You're back now. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my internet just dropped out very briefly. I'll ask that question again, Cam.
Yeah.
How did you get into the coaching gig for the Rezzies?
Mate, well, I came in 2019. And as I said, it was Crofty that brought me down. Crofty and Brendo that brought me down, and Crofty was going to stop the coaching role so he could focus on some other stuff with his touch footy and that.
Yep.
And I sort of wanted to slow down, and I'd never taken a risk on the footy side, and I thought that coaching might be a good way to do it and still be involved in the club, because it was something that I didn't want to walk away from. Mate, I had no idea what coaching was about, and in all honesty, I'm still learning every day. But I think that it was something that I wanted to do and have done, and I wouldn't take it back, mate. It's a different role. It's a hard role. It's something that I didn't expect it to be so hard. But I'm lucky that I've got somebody behind me that mentors me really well in Mick, and he just keeps pushing me, and we make sure that we get things done. And mate, I wouldn't take it back, that's for sure.
Yeah, Mick and I have spoken several times over the time that we kind of have done the podcast together, and I think we've both kind of come to the agreement that often being the reserve grade head coach can be the toughest gig at a club. Just because, as we've spoken about already on this podcast, that you often can't rely on the same kind of 22 to step on the field each week. And I'd imagine your Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays are probably full of phone calls trying to scrounge people up.
You have got no idea, Charlie.
Absolutely no idea. Yeah, look, but one of my rules that I made, I think it was even in the interview that I had with Mick, and it was Heath Petterwood as the president at that stage, said, look, I'll take it on, and I have a rule in myself that I'll never forfeit. Mate, I sometimes don't have a team on Friday night at 9:00, but in the 3 years that I've been doing it, we lost the one in COVID, but in the years that I've been doing it, we haven't had a team at least enough to play, So
do you sleep on Friday nights, Cam?
Yeah, I try to sleep a couple of hours, mate.
Yeah, after the phone calls.
Yeah. Well, I only sleep when Mick turns his phone off. But look, mate, we've come from adversity, especially last year. Some of the games that we had last year, I borrowed I think 7 players at one stage, and just to get our 18,
Yeah.
and then we come through and end up with a premiership in 2024. I mean, if we had those players the whole time, it'd make my life a lot easier. But it's Resi's footy, you know. So you've got to deal with the rough parts as well, but the upsides counter that too, you know.
Yeah, look, I'll ask you this question, Mick, because obviously you've worked alongside Cam as kind of the coaches of of the two teams at the club for a few years now. What do you admire most about what Cam does with the reserve grade team?
I think it's pretty much what he said, mate. Like he just won't take no for an answer. Like
Yeah,
he won't forfeit. There's no way that he'll ever do that. And, he'll just pester and pester and pester until he can get a team. And, there's definitely conversations where we've had where we've been pretty doubtful, but we've worked together and we've made it happen. And, we've had to back up players and stuff like that. And we just do whatever we can do to together to do that. But I think that's the thing. Like we got belted on the weekend by obviously 120 points or whatever it was. But at the end of the day, it was more the fact that that we could get a team on the park and we're at home and make it happen. And he's just that type of guy that he just doesn't say no, and he'll keep driving.
yeah. I mean, I only had the last year kind of in the setup with the club and seeing the way Cam operates, but I mean, the man's a tornado when he wants to be. Just yeah, you're right. He puts his mind to something and it's going to get done.
Yep.
Which I admire a lot about you, Cam. So there you go.
Yeah.
You can have a compliment from me as well.
No, I appreciate that. It definitely grinds on you sometimes, mate. But yeah, I've got the support behind me, so that's good.
Let's talk about grand final day last year because look for the club as a whole it didn't go to plan, but it was an amazing day for your team. Cam, what was that feeling like in the fourth quarter when you started kind of was there a moment where you went, we've done this we've won this premiership?
Yeah, there was. Look, at the end of the second quarter, as Woden do, they started hustling the boys, and we had a bit of drama in the back line. We started letting us down a little bit, but we had a chat to the boys at half time, and they pulled their heads in, and I can't thank them enough for actually doing that because it definitely turned the game around. And then sort of at the end of the third quarter there, we had Josh Mulrooney and Sean Green that definitely turned the tables for the rest of the game. You know, like having the experience that those two boys have, and when those two put their heads together at the end of that third quarter, it definitely changed it up for us. And that's one of the days that I won't forget. It happened to be my 41st birthday as well.
Yeah, okay.
And mate, it was something that I've dreamt about for a long time, and to see a new club that I'm with get it over the line, it was absolutely amazing, mate. I'll never forget it. That's for sure.
But for you personally as well, Cam, I guess tell me about kind of the emotions that you went through, because obviously you'd been the coach for that Resi side for a few years. Not traditionally, Bateman's Bay's reserve grade isn't traditionally a club that they haven't played a lot of finals, and you break through, you win this premiership, you get your hands on the cup, you've got your premiership medal. What were the emotions like for you on the day?
Mate, it's very hard to explain. When I realised that we actually had it, mate, I don't think that I've torn so many beard hairs out of my face in my life. Just standing on the sideline watching the crew And yeah, mate, I was proud of all of the boys on the paddock. Um, oh, mate, mate, my hairs are standing up on end at the moment. It was amazing, Jolie.
Yeah.
Like to be at that age, and I've been involved in premierships before, and I'd never won one.
Yeah.
And even though I wasn't on the paddock with the boys, I was on the paddock with the boys, and mate, it's one of the proudest moments that I've had in my life, in all honesty. And as I said, I'll never forget it. Just to come back, not to come back, but to come back. Well, yeah, to come back from the year that we had before, when we only won 4 to 5 games, and then mate, to take it out in 2024. Yeah, it was the best birthday present I'll ever get. That's for sure.
Could imagine. Now, Cam, I want to talk to you as well about, obviously we've mentioned Bess a couple of times, and Bess is obviously your better half. But
Definitely.
you guys, Mick, and tell me if you disagree here, Mick, but I don't think you will. I feel like Cam and Bess are the kind of the glue people that every club needs just to keep themselves running properly. Like Cam, as we've mentioned, he's got the hardest job at the footy club, just about as the reserve grade coach. But Bess last year was just always there. She was, providing whatever medical help she could do, and she was the one who would rub the guys down if they were feeling sore, or it's just like they do an amazing job for this footy club. Mick, would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely, mate. Definitely. Yeah, both of them are, they've been outstanding since they've been involved with the club. They've been great supporters of me and Sudsy as well, and our vision that our club has. And both Cam and Bess are on the executive of football club now, and they love giving back as well. And yeah, definitely the football club is a much better place for having them two involved. And I don't think that we'd be in the position that we are without those two as well. So definitely a very important makeup of our football club, that's for sure, Jolly.
Now, which brings me to my next question, Cam.
Mhm.
How did you and Bess meet, first of all, and
Um,
second of all, how?
Beth was originally my boxing coach, mate. So I met her at the gym, and she's taught me a lot, actually, and I think I've taught her a lot as well. She's learnt to deal with a lot, that's for sure. Mate,
Is that through experience?
uh, well, yeah, it definitely is. She's experienced a lot, I would suggest. Mate, Beth is, she's obviously a lot different to me, but I'll tell you what, mate, if she wasn't around now, I wouldn't be the person that I am. It makes it a lot easier having somebody that does support you the whole time. Obviously, with the new baby and stuff, I said to her last year that I didn't want to coach this year because we knew that we had the baby coming. And essentially, she said to me, "You need to coach because I can't deal with you the whole time." So
Oh.
she's very supportive of me and the footy club, and obviously she's the backbone of me, which is great for support as well. She doesn't question anything that we have to do with the footy club. She supports everything that we want to do, and she has great input too, which makes it easier, mate. If you've got somebody that appreciates what you're doing, it makes life a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, I think Mick and I can probably both speak from experience as well that it's good to not only have an understanding wife but a supportive wife if you're wanting to get involved in football clubs. I mean,
Yep.
I've come home from my end of work 7 o'clock shift, gone straight into a podcast, and my wife is just like, yeah, that's fine, dear. You do what you need to do. So yeah, I can hear what you're saying. So boxing coach, that almost feels like a Hollywood movie, mate. Who's going to play you in the movie?
Mate, I don't know. There's a couple of boys that have seen that she's a better fighter than me, so I don't think we should make it a movie.
Well, I was thinking you're a bit of a silver fox, Cam. So maybe like a George Clooney.
So I'll take that compliment, mate. But oh no, I'll take that. Yeah. Let's get him as the role.
Oh, good stuff. Enough of this frivolity. Cam, you've spoken about how originally you didn't see yourself kind of still being at the club even after the 6 years, but you're here. You're a premiership winning coach. Can you see yourself leaving?
Mate, I'm not going anywhere. Look, obviously, with the direction that the club wants to go in, I'll take a couple of steps back when and if Mick lets me. Yeah, mate, I'm definitely going to be around the club for as long as I possibly can. I just want to help as much as I can, and obviously being in Canberra does make it difficult at times to be as involved. But with the way that things are going, it might be a benefit for the club as well. Yeah, mate. So I'm here for the long haul because the crew that we've got, mate, everybody that's around, it's actually a privilege to have all of these people around me. So it enhances our life as well, So no, I'm not going anywhere, Jolly.
And Mick, will you let him take a step back anytime soon, or is he just going to be cracking the whip and making him coach reserve grade for the next 20 years?
No comment.
I don't even know what to make of that. Mick, you got any more questions for Cam at all?
Oh, mate, I think that was good. That was good. Bit of fun.
Well,
yeah, no, I enjoyed it, boys.
Cam, I'm impressed. That wasn't as loose as I was expecting. So you've done well there, mate.
Yeah, well, I had a leash standing on my right shoulder as well, mate. So
are we going to get in trouble for this one? Are like a Mick and I in the bad books now?
No, absolutely not, mate. I just the only thing that I asked Mick is, I asked Mick today if I had to rein anything in, and he just said the swearing, and I don't think I swore once. So
No, you
done
didn't.
very well. You done
Very
very
well. That'd be quite a shock to some of our junior listeners, wouldn't it be?
Oh, it's a shock to me too, Jolly.
Well, thanks, boys. That was another good show. Next week, obviously, get down to Hanging Rock for both Saturday and Sunday. Big days of footy. Lots going on. Hopefully, we can bring home 5 wins. That obviously a perfect world. If you're not in Bateman's Bay, if you're finding yourself down the coast, go and cheer on the juniors down in Eden. But otherwise, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we will see you, and we'll be back in your ears, I suppose, next week. Thanks, Mick, again.
Thanks, Jolie. Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Cam.
Thanks, gents.
Have a good week.
Boys. Go
Cheers,
Hawkies.
boys.